I think one of the toughest parts about being a mom is that we are pretty much assaulted with the shoulds, right? We have statements like, I should be doing the dishes, I should be doing the laundry, I should be working. When I'm at work, I should be home doing housework. There's such a tension with the shoulds, and I see clients all the time who struggle with this, and these clients have such a good heart. Their hearts are in the right place. They want to do all the things that they should do, and yet I see that there's such a bondage with it because we are the ones who impose those expectations. I just had a client last week who we were just joking about how when we relax, we feel guilty. How we're learning how to actually embrace relaxation and self-care. And any of you who have looked at the Gospels see that Jesus himself took naps, so like when I see that, I'm like, okay, I can definitely get on board with that. But I think what's interesting about the shoulds is that really just shifting up the language a little bit generates freedom. Let me show you what I mean. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from Living by Heart. Here is where I hope to inspire you to connect more deeply with God and your family. I am simply letting you know that it is time for us women to embrace grace instead of judgment and to really release this hard on ourselves dynamic. Let's take, for example, the mom who really feels like she should exercise. This is a big one, right? Like we all know that we probably should exercise, but that is an external expectation. And instead of like tuning into what it is that our body needs or asking the Lord, how would you like me to spend my time right now? We should on ourselves. I would like to propose that we could have a different dialogue with ourselves if we were to shift up the word should to the word could. And it generates so much freedom. It gives us a choice without that heavy judgment or expectation attached to it. So if I say, I could go for a walk right now, doesn't that feel so much more freeing? Don't you feel like you have a choice? Don't you feel like actually either one is okay? And truly, if we're tuning into our hearts and we're living by heart, this is what this is about. It's about tuning into what we really need in the moment, because we know that the Lord, the Holy Spirit, Jesus himself has taken up residence inside of us as believers. And so by simply getting quiet and tuning in to what it is that our heart is craving, we are automatically aligning ourselves with him because our heart is one with his. And so if we deep down feel like a workout feels stressful to our bodies or feels like it would bring on burnout, that is an excellent way to discern that this is something that needs to be released and to ask the Lord, what could I do instead? I follow a really regular workout plan in my life, and I actually love it, and it does bring me a lot of joy. And there's very little should attached to it because I truly enjoy it and I feel better when I do it. However, there are days when I feel burned out. There are days when I feel like, oh my gosh, I just need to sleep. There are days when my body is so sore from previous workouts that I say to myself, honestly, like the thought of lifting another weight right now is so unappealing. And what my body's really craving is a good stretch, or just a walk to loosen up, or sometimes just the warm up, just to get warm and kind of loosen stuff up, but not to exercise vigorously. And so these are times when I can really access the grace and the word could. And so I might say something to myself like, I could do that workout today, or I could take the day off, or I could embrace rest. The could word automatically just makes me feel like I have so much freedom to choose. I think it's really interesting to consider that when we're using the word should, we are really accessing external expectations from the world, most likely. Where did we hear that we needed to work out X number of days for X number of minutes? Isn't God, the creator of all, the one to ask what your body needs? And so sometimes if you don't know what you need and you're having a hard time even discerning, try tuning in and just asking yourself, well, what is it that I want to do? And invite God into that. I love having conversations with Jesus throughout my day, and to really just involve him in those little decisions and to say, well, Lord, how would you like me to spend my time? Because how many of you know our time is not our own, our lives are not our own. All of that was surrendered to him when we became believers and followers of Jesus. And so he gets to decide, what it is that I'm going to do with my time. And I want to just free you up from the shoulds. And I want to just say from the bottom of my heart, don't should on yourself. Try using the word could instead of should, and see what kind of feelings come up for you and how much freedom you feel to make whatever decision God is leading you to make. And when those shoulds come, they often bring condemnation with them. And so my personal view is just to look at it like a toilet flushing. Like, if you decide that workout is not in the cards for you today, and you really feel like that's not what your body truly needs, and condemnation comes in and says, oh, you shouldn't do that, just flush those comments, those little self-talk things that are so negative, and you can say to yourself, you know what? My life and my time belong to the Lord, and so here's what I'm going to do. And there's so much freedom in not being bullied by external expectations. We get to choose. The Lord gives us the choice. And so I just challenge you today to try could this week, and try it both in how you talk to yourself and also how you speak to others. And you'll find that people really begin to recognize how often they're using that word. I'd love to hear how it changes your family culture when you begin to shout out at each other, oh, don't should on yourself, or don't should on yourself. And so I just hope this has been helpful, and I will see you on the next video.